Ross, welcome to Boss.
Thanks, Allie. You're the boss. I'm watching your show all the time. I love all the episodes, so I hope I can live up to the hype that you've already got going on here.
Boss is my amazing new executive interview series on LinkedIn. I interview my badass executive network to help others learn, network, and pay it forward in this crazy new normal that is now just, normal.
Well, welcome to my kitchen. I guess this is pretty casual.
Ross, kind of starting it out. Tell me, I know who you are. I listen to the podcast you've done. I know you from years back at Viacom. We have lots of mutual friends. I know that you are such like a creative genius. I wanted you on my show. Who are you though?
I'm the voice in your head that makes you believe you can achieve your potential and then some. That's who I am.
Where did that, network, that career, that piece of short inspiration kind of come from?
I think, I've done a lot of work on my own belief system because I have to do that kind of work for so many of our clients. So if you're going to actually be working on the brand strategy of everybody else, you might as well at least try to answer the existential questions about yourself. What I love about it actually is that people can learn a lot from leaders who come on your show and be inspired hopefully by them, as I have been. And then also you're focused on this executive network, and you asked how do I have such a wonderful network of leaders in my life? And the real answer is pretty much with each and every one of them being in the trenches over the last 25, 30 years, doing real actual work with all of them. And that's the only way I find that you actually get to know other leaders and they get to know and appreciate you.
In your opinion, what are the most important leadership qualities for executives today? And has that changed?
Well, I think it's definitely changing because, we're in the pandemic economy. We're watching the old economy die in our laps. You look at approximately 10,000 or more small and medium-sized businesses going out of business as we speak. You can see them on your block, right? And so the old economy, as it dies in our lap, and we are in this pandemic economy, we're about to enter a new economy, and there will be new kinds of leaders and new kinds of business models that win. And we're starting to see the characteristics of those and how different they are from what's come before. And for me, there are really four qualities of a leader that's going to win in the new economy: empathy, courage, intuition, and dedication. And you could play with those words a little bit. You might want to add resiliency, perseverance. But those are the four that I think about, empathy being the most important.
We all know that the world needs more women and diversity in tech roles, data roles, leadership roles, marketing roles, right? The new Global 500 list came out, and we have women running just 13 out of 500 of the companies that made the cut. There are no women of color on this list.
It's a great question. I'm glad you're bringing it up. So first of all, I think that there's so much virtue signaling going on, and I wrote about this for Campaign Magazine and PR Week last week, and spoke about it at the Purpose Conference and at MadCon last week. It's I think we're done with the virtue signaling. And by that, I mean the marketing campaigns that are all using the same exact language, the panels that are just about the same bullshit over and over again. And here's the thing, it's you can't hide anymore. Everybody can see you. So while it may be difficult to have to take positions or actually live your values, if you don't, there's just no more getting away. You just become irrelevant. And the consumer, the power of consumers to shut you down or make you irrelevant is just so great that you can't pretend anymore. So then the burden really shifts to leaders, and you can see who's serious and who's not, and who's investing in marketing campaigns that make it look like they're doing the right thing, and who's actually investing in systems of impact that are going to change the way that we look, the way that we operate, for the better. And so look, I can do my part, but I do it mostly quietly, and I'm just trying to affect the change that I can. I run an investment fund, a venture capital fund called Lunch Partners. The vast majority of the companies we've invested in so far are run by women and people of color. It's not something we lead with, it's just something that we do. And it turns out you actually have to go look, because Otherwise, you're sort of going to be stuck in the same orthodoxies with the same founders, round and round, a bunch of white men who kind of look like me. And so I look at some of the guests that you've had in the past. You had Cherie Hagan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but from Google, she's a lesbian, she's Black, she's Spanish, and she's a Native American, right? You met her at a dinner, I believe, if I remember correctly, for the female quotient. If we don't create spaces like that for people like her to meet people like you, then we're not kind of doing our job. And so I hope to create spaces for women to achieve and for people of color to have a shot that they've earned to do the best work of their lives and their careers and get credit for it. And then I hope to be, and I think I am, really, really loud in championing their success. I don't know any other way.
A lot of the world is out of work right now.
I think we are all guilty at some point in our careers of getting stuck in other people's definitions of who we are. And you know, the longer your career, like the more you seem to fit into the box that you either put yourself into or other people convinced you are in. And I would say revolt against that. Especially now. When you're looking for a job, be super intentional about what makes you happy and what brings you joy and what gets you excited, as opposed to limiting your consideration set.
Ross, what does the future of work or now look like to you?
Allie, I wish to God I can answer that question. I wish I knew. You know, I'm part of a team running a company that's now 300 people. You know, when we started the year, we were 200 people. We were in 6 offices. Now we're in 300 home offices. Most of the people at Known have never been in the same room as most of the people at Known. And yet we've been able to achieve remarkable things in our business and for our clients. And we're not even done with our first year. So I think what we're all seeing, whether we were ready for it or not, is that the power of human ingenuity, collaboration, innovation, and real passion is unstoppable. Well, I think it's interesting. It's kind of like my son is a goalkeeper in soccer, and really what he has to worry about is what's happening inside the goalie box. And so here I'm like looking at you in this rectangle, and I get to manage what's going on in my rectangle. You've got your rectangle. Mine's a little messed up because we have like our juicer on the floor over here, and I'm sort of showing you my vulnerability. And I'm not lit the way my production crew would probably light me. Fine. But I think what's really interesting about that is sort of controlling what you can, right? And being able to sort of find a way to express who you are. And what you're all about. And so it's like, as we're, people are watching this episode, I hope people like me, but there's not much I can do physically to sort of like do anything about it outside of my rectangle, right? And I think we're all learning to innovate in our box. What's that?
That's my favorite new quote around like, there's not much I can do outside of my rectangle.
Well, I mean, I'm sort of stuck in this box here.
Yeah, I love it. It didn't answer the question about CES necessarily, but I really enjoy it.
How many more CESs can you go to? Like, I love it, but okay, like I could take a year off.
I could take a year off too. I do find value in the networking piece of it though. And again, like
you're doing quite well. Allie, you seem to be networking quite well. I don't think I'm worried about you.
I appreciate that, Ross. One piece of advice for future bosses.
Put in the actual work.
One thing you'll commit to do in 2021 to help pay it forward.
Make people pay St. Jude and other charities for the free advice I give them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like people come to you, I know it's the lightning round, but like people come to you like, hey, can I just have your advice on like the biggest thing ever? If I helped you, would you please just click this button and make a donation to St. Jude? Is it really that hard? Was that worth $50? Was my half hour worth $50 to you? Was it worth 10,000?
What do you want to be known for over the next 6 to 12 months?
What we're about to do at the Super Bowl. Just that I love that you're doing it, Allie, and I love watching in the comment section how many people are getting something out of these. And so that's why I wanted to do it, to give back and to join the movement.
I love it. Everyone should watch, comment, share, Bye, everyone.